guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Francine, and as you guys know, I'm from the Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, and I have Steve with me with the LSAT Unplugged, and I have a few questions about the LSAT Online Flex. So as you guys know, with the COVID-19, there's no way to sit in that test room and take the LSAT. So basically you have to be at home or in the library or somewhere else that's open, more convenient for you to take the LSAT. So I have a lot of questions with the LSAT-Flex, and I'm gonna go ahead and let Steve introduce himself as well.
Perfect, Frank. Thanks, Francine, and thank you for having me. So for folks who don't know me, on your end, I'm Steve Schwartz. I run the LSAT blog. I also host the LSAT Unplugged YouTube channel and podcast. Been teaching the LSAT for a long time. And as Francine said, big changes recently, the biggest changes I've ever seen, where the LSAT went from being paper and pencil to being digital on a tablet. And now this year, due to COVID-19, it's online at home from your own computer. And so I'm happy to walk through and talk through some of the changes.
Great. So Steve, what do you think about the whole, just the basic, everything else with the LSAT being online? Do you think it's more convenient for everyone to take the LSAT, or do you think one-on-one, being in a test center is better than actually taking it online? What do you think about that?
I think that for most people, assuming they have a quiet home environment with good internet, good computer, and not too much noise at home, it could be a pretty good situation and better than doing it in person at a testing center when you have other test takers who could be distracting you, proctors walking around. So as long as you can get support from friends and family, whoever you're living with, to be quiet for that time you're taking the exam, it could be better for you for sure.
So, for example, I have a daughter, and as I'm speaking to you right now, she's walking around the house. That's a form of distraction right there.
Yeah.
So what do you do to prevent that distraction? Because I know that the LSAT-Flex is a 2-hour, 2-hour test online on your computer. And I know from my research, I've actually read that you have to stay on the camera, basically on your webcam. So if you look around or talk to someone, everything might have to go under investigation for them to figure out if you're distracted or anything like that. So how do you prevent things like that, like with people who have children or sisters or nephews? How can you actually focus and take the exam at home?
Yeah, that's a real big issue. I can certainly relate. I have a little one of my own, and you never know when they're going to make noise or run around or get in the way. And so you really need, ideally, somebody else at home, an adult, who can supervise that child for those 2 hours, schedule it in advance, or maybe do it after they've gone to bed if possible, or early in the morning while they're taking their nap. But ideally get a significant other or a friend or family to watch the child so that for those 2 hours, and potentially even longer than 2 hours in case there's time getting set up or any delays, so that it's going to go smoothly for you on the test day itself.
That's true. So another question would be, how about with those with internet issues? Let me say, for instance, now a lot of people don't have a job, they don't have work, basically no income coming in, so they don't have a way to get Wi-Fi, for instance, and pay for Wi-Fi. Or a lot of students out here don't have computers or laptops, because I remember being in college undergrad, I dropped my MacBook, so it was messed up. I had to rent a tablet or a computer from campus, basically, and I took it at home. And once the semester is over, you have to return that computer. So those students who don't have a computer or a laptop or a tablet, those students who don't have internet, Wi-Fi, what do you think would work for them?
You've got to contact the law school admission council as soon as possible, and they provide you with a loaner device. But they will actually mail you a device you can borrow just to take the LSAT-Flex, and then you mail it back to them. But if you don't have good internet, then you got to figure that out as soon as possible, because it takes time. And so if you think your internet is shaky, I think that's the worst situation, because you think it'll be smooth on test day, and then there's a problem. At least if you know you have no internet and only your data connection on your phone, that's not going to be good enough. And you've got to contact them to get the loaner device and maybe even get another place to take it. They can set you up with a local law school or college or university where you could actually go there and take it in person with, of course, social distancing measures and such. But decide on that as soon as possible. If you think there's any chance your internet's not going to work out, or of course, if you don't have the proper device, then decide that in advance, contact them so they can get you set up in time.
That's a great idea. That's very helpful. And how would the section be divided? Because I know you usually have 4 sections of, the reading comprehension, the analytical reasoning, and the logical reasoning. How are we going to have the same length as in 4 sections, or are we still going to have the unscored section as well? Are we going to have the writing part, or do you know how everything's going to be set up this time?
Yeah, so for the flex, it's actually a little bit different. Instead of having 5 sections in person with the 4 scored plus the 1 experimental, instead, you only have 3 sections and no experimental. So that's part of why not only is it maybe for many people at least more convenient to do it at home, but also it's a shorter test day length. You're done in 2 hours. With test day in person, that's 3.5 hours or more. Luckily, the writing sample is no longer at the same time anymore, no matter what. You could do that another day from the actual scored parts of the LSAT. So that's a good thing. And then also, I think it being shorter is great for a lot of people too. You're done
that's
faster.
An advantage right there. That's an advantage. That's great. I wish I took it this time.
Yeah.
I wish I did it. Oh my God. And do you think, last question with the LSAT-Flex, do you think this will go on for a long time? Do you think, because I've heard that they've had positive outcomes with the LSAT-Flex, like 99% of about 10,000 people have, actually brought up good reviews with the LSAT-Flex. Do you think this will go on? Will they give us an option to actually take it from home or go to the test center after the whole COVID-19 is over? Or do you think it's just for a short period of time?
From what they're saying right now, it looks like they actually want to go back to administering it in person as soon as they can. Like the LSAT will also be Flex online for both June and July in addition to May. There were actually a number of problems with the May LSAT Flex. I think most people had an okay time, but there were some issues like with the online proctoring. The proctors didn't always know the rules, or there were delays or tech issues with the equipment. And so I think that'll get smoother with time. But it looks like for August, there's actually some chance that they're going to administer it in person with social distancing. And whether they can actually do that or not, obviously depends on what's happening with COVID-19. We're speaking now in early June. August LSAT's at the end of August, so almost 3 months away. Anything could happen between now and then, right? So it's too early to say. I think if they could figure out the tech, it would be much better to do the LSAT Flex if they could. The only barrier would be about the experimental section, because if they can't administer experimental section for future questions, then what are they going to do going forward? So that's the one big unresolved issue that I don't know the answer to, and I don't think they have a solution to it either, which is in part why they want to go back to in-person. But we'll see. Too early to say.
That's great. Thank you so much, Steve. I've actually received a lot of questions about the LSAT Flex, a lot of questions, and I was like, okay, you guys, I have a video for you guys coming up with Steve, one of the best guys out here. He actually offers a free course online, and you guys can follow him on Instagram. I'll drop the link below. And he actually has a good equipment. Like if you want to take the LSAT exam and everything else, like you need to follow his page and watch his videos. Thank you so much, Steve. Is there anything else you want to say? Any last words before we actually end this conversation right here?
No, thank you so much for having me, Francine. It's a pleasure to connect with you, and folks can feel free to find me on the LSAT Unplugged YouTube channel and podcast and Facebook group and Instagram. Like you said, I'll share for you some links to drop in the description. But thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.